Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Freshman 15 College Football Podcast on a special episode, Draft Talk this week, with a special guest, none other than the Associate Head Coach of Strength and Conditioning at the University of Maryland, Jason Wooding. Jason, my man, what's up?
What's good, boss? It's been a long time, man. You from around the way. Good guy, man. Glad to be on this, my guy.
Bro, I appreciate it, man. And honestly, we was talking about like before we started recording, man. Just how you got to where you at, man. It's cool to see people from like the area kind of make it in the way you have, man. I mean, there's some people who don't know, man, a little bit like how you got to where you at UMD.
Yeah, my journey is crazy. So you knew me from a young age, so you saw a lot of it. But youngest of five from Langley Park, Maryland, which is PG County. Grew up playing all the sports, football, basketball, track, all that stuff. Thought I was going to be a hooper. Stopped growing, so I had to pivot. Went to football, went to High Point, then Dunbar in D.C. Played my college ball at Howard University. But how I got into the coaching is funny, man. So out of Howard, I was trying to go to physical therapy school. Kind of messed off a little bit freshman year. Core GPA was a little low in my science and math courses, so I had to pivot, man. So after college, I'm scratching my head trying to figure out what's next. And one of my good friends, Rodney Hill, is actually at the University of Florida now. He was the director of Howard University at the time. We played ball together in school. He says, "Come on, intern for me." And I didn't even know what a strength coach really was, because we had strength coaches in college, but it wasn't like a glorified job. So I just thought man, they're weight coaches, they're personal trainers. I didn't realize the significance of it at that age. I just like to work out. So helped him out for about six to 8 months, I believe. From there, he helped throw an alley-oop to me to get a grad assistantship at Mercer down in Macon, Georgia. Did my grad assistantship there, worked with all the teams there, helped out, learned a bunch. That was my first really getting thrown into the fire situation. You have teams you have to run, you have head coaches you have to report to, and you also help with the big teams. And then from there, came back home, did some time at American, then University of Houston. That was big, man. That was my first time getting a taste of high major athletics. And you see what they're doing now, man. Coach Sampson and Alan Bishop have built a powerhouse down there at University of Houston, where it's just continued success, man. 30-win season, just going head coach of the year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And after that, I went to Texas Tech out in Lubbock, good old West Texas. That was a good time out there in Big 12. Did about a little over 2 years there, and then I came back home in 2021. And it's great, man. University of Maryland, it's been a great time thus far.
I mean, that school's all about prestige, man. I think us kind of from the area knowing that's just its own thing, man. Like I think UMB's always had that attraction to us with the years of Juan Dixon, even back in the '90s, like some of the players that made the NFL back then. Even the mid 2000s guys like Lance Ball making the league, Lamont Jordan from Oxon Hill, I mean, to me, it all seemed like a fairy tale land. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't forget about Lights Out now. Sean, man, Lights Out.
Yeah, of course, man. Vernon Davis and
yeah, we got some guys, man. For sure.
Man, it's crazy, man, to think that, man. Just to see you now at UMD, it's like going to a fairy tale, kind of like riding back home. But those that don't know, man, kind of define this, because people I think they get kind of misconstrued. What's the role of a strength and conditioning coach versus a trainer? Not the guy that runs on the field, somebody gets hurt. What's your kind of day-to-day role?
Yep. So, athletic trainer is on the medical side, right? So they worry about, the rehab from injuries, the soft tissue work, the taping, all of those kind of modalities. A strength coach, you really focus on the development of the athlete, right? So all the running, all the field work, all the conditioning, the weight gain, weight loss kind of guys, you slot them. And then a lot of that is stuff too is also off the field, man. So we're with athletes the most out of any other coach. So you got to help develop these guys as young men. So you try to instill values that, somebody might have instilled in you growing up or that you missed out on growing up. Mm-hmm. And the hopes that they all become better than us, man. That's the goal, is become better men in society and actualize their dreams in football or whatever the case is.
Absolute, man. So now, so you kind of came from the program of the Big 12, now the Big 10 at Maryland. What are some of the physical differences you guys might see, seeing a guy from the Big 12 versus now playing in the Big 10? I mean, we know the connotations and the mantras, the ideas of physicality versus finesse, but is it that much different?
Man, it's a huge difference. I'm not gonna lie to you. So Big
Dang.
12, every game felt like a track meet. Like we ran kind of an air raid offense, so spread them out. We're scoring 40, other teams scoring 45, 50. Everybody's fast. You still have big players because you are in, southern regions and Midwest, so you still have
Mm-hmm.
bigger players. But the brand of football in the Big Ten is a different animal for nobody. For people who haven't seen like a Minnesota or Iowa play, their defense, offensive line, defensive line is so physical at the point of attack. It's a different brand of football. You're not running up and down. You see a lot of their games are low scoring because of the way they play ball. They keep everything in front of them. They play sound football. And when you get to like the bigger programs, your O States, your Michigans, of course they're gonna have more five-star athletes, so they're gonna be running just as well. But some of the mid-level schools, it's a lot bigger, more physical brand. Big Ten overall is a physical brand of football. Still kind of smash mouth. Still RPO is big. Passing game is opening up, but a lot of teams still want to have that physical identity with running. Versus Big 12 is more pass attack, run secondary. Similar to like how the Pac-12 was, I would say.
So, as in your role, right, as a strength coach, how involved are you, if any involvement at all? Because this is me off the cuff. How involved are you in like the game planning aspect of it? Do you get like you and Loxley sit down and say, "Hey, look, this week we're gonna work on this type of aspect because who we're playing
Oh,
against?" Like
not at
separate,
all.
it's totally
I'm
separate.
hey, whatever the head coach is saying, I'm just echoing whatever he's saying. I'm clapping, man. So we don't touch any of that, and it's for the better, right? You start wearing too many different hats, and you're doing this, you're doing that. You kind of water down the process on what you're actually there for. If you're doing too much, it's hard to be great at everything, man.
Got you. Now, even that would like, because you know how this is. It's a lot of expansion going on within now the Big Ten, adding more teams. And you got the imports of Washington, USC, Oregon. Does that change how you kind of adapt your players now? Is it going to be because I think I talked about this before with my man Tyler, my co-host, as far as teams coming into the Big Ten, having to see that physicality. But is it more like they got to adjust to us versus we adjust to them? Like, what's your mentality with these teams coming in?
Yeah, I would say most definitely. When the outside guys coming into a new conference, you definitely have to adjust to the way they play. But teams are still going to keep that identity. I'm not going to, belittle any of those teams. Oregon's a great program. USC's a great program. All those are great programs coming in. But I would say they probably have to adjust a little more to the style of play because Pac-12 is more pass happy, run up and down the
Mm-hmm.
field. Now you have to worry about actually stopping the run, protecting up front, making sure your quarterback has time to throw the ball so you can play the game you want to play. So I'd say it's more of them adapting to the conference. And then with recruiting, you're going to recruit a little differently as well because now you're in the Big Ten. So you're probably slotted to get a little bit more of those athletes versus the West Coast kids. Even though you are a West Coast school, kind of dip into the Big Ten kind of talent pool a little bit.
So I mean, so kind of bringing it back to home base for your guys coming out of Maryland. I mean, you guys have had like a run over the last couple of years, man. Guys like Deontay Banks, first round last year. Rakim Jarrett, I think was a 5-star. You guys, I
St.
think you got
John's,
flipped back to you guys,
Trey
right?
Johnson.
So just like you guys coming out now this year. I mean, we got Delmar Glaze, Bo Bradle. Who's the guy you think needs to get more talked about, like more push, more love out there?
Man, of course, I'm a co-sign my guy, Jay Sean Jones, man, ball player. Did 6 years at Maryland. Did it all, mate. Played a little bit of quarterback, not quarterback, but trick plays,
Uh huh.
slot, play some outside, could return punts. Just an all-around good player, man. Very naturally skilled. He's from Fort Myers, very skilled guy. Tarheeb Still, very skilled corner, very technical, plays the ball very well. Had 5 picks this year, went all conference. So, then Gotti, only spent a year with us, man, but a freak athlete. O lineman, came up from Frostburg, came up Big Ten, and really killed it for us. So I say those three that probably aren't getting talked about. Of course, people talk, like I said, they're talking about Bo, Glaze. Of course, Leah's being talked about. The famous Leah quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Of course, he's talked about. So I say those other guys that probably don't get talked about a lot. They probably deserve a little bit more attention and recognition.
Have you guys said anything about like where they want to go? Like maybe want to stay in town to the Commanders, maybe go to the Cowboys, anything like that you've heard about?
You know what's crazy, man? Players never get into that, man, because it's such a joyous occasion. You're just so blessed to get drafted.
Yeah.
Of course, you have your favorite teams growing up, but that very rarely happens. Your favorite team drafts you, but man, they don't care if they get their name called. You get that phone call, like they're smiling ear to ear. They're happy because their dreams came true, man. So it's dope to see, for sure.
That's awesome, man. And then last question, man. So I guess looking at the entire aspect of the season, is there any type of team that we should be looking out for? Anything like maybe a guy you got on your roster kind of coming up? Is there like a surprise star of maybe your conference or the NCAA to look out for?
Yeah, and I'm gonna plug definitely a few of my guys.
Of course.
Ty Felton, number 10, dynamic receiver, very fast, talented, deep ball threat,
Okay.
great after the catch. Caden Prather, Northwest guy. Ty Felton is from Virginia. Caden Prather, Northwest guy, transferred from West V, very talented, 6'4", 215, could do it all. Roman Hemby, he's coming into his redshirt junior year. I think this would be a huge year for him, putting size on, physical brand. He already has a home run speed, so he has that down pat. And then I'll throw some love, some defensive guys. I'll go Dante Trader, a veteran safety from Delaware. Actually played at McDonough, but from Delaware. Glenn Miller, big time ball player, man. I think he's the sleeper overall on the team because a lot of people don't talk about him, but they're gonna see with the work he's been putting in and the season he's coming off of last year. I think he's gonna have a great year this year. Ruben Hippolyte, great athlete. I mean, I'm not gonna speak too much on that, but when he gets that invite, man, he might do something at 40. He might do something.
Okay.
He might break a record at 240. Then I gotta show some love to the bigs. Let's go Tommy Akinbasote and Tajay Johnson. Interior guys. And these are all draft eligible guys, so they're either redshirt juniors or true seniors. So I definitely think all of them have a great chance of making the league. Just got to keep putting the work in, man. Have a good senior campaign, and let the rest speak for itself.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Man, Jason, thank you for hopping on the show, man. It's been a long time just catching up, talking football, talking draft. For those that don't know, man, Jason goes way back to down the basement lifting weights, that click-clack sound. The curl parties that downstairs for hours, man. I'm honestly, man, I'm just proud of what you've been able to accomplish, man, coming up, really representing the area in the right way. And of course, man, thanks for hopping on the Freshman 15, dude.
Man, thank you, my brother. It's a blessing. I'm proud of you, all the work you're doing. Say what's up to your little man for me, too. I haven't met him yet, but say what's up to him for me, man. We got to catch up in person soon.
Of course, man. He'll be out there. He'll be out there. But for myself, LP Cruz on the Freshman 15, and Jason Wooding, again, Freshman 15 podcast. Peace.
Yes, sir.